Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at the changes to Warhammer Heroes Series 5. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Warhammer Heroes Series 5. Stormcast Eternals take over. Stormcast Eternals are immortal warriors, reforged by Sigmar himself. A tireless army of champions recruited to fight an endless battle against the horrors that seek to dominate the mortal realms. Their armies are diverse, numerous chambers of specialized warriors working together to hold the line against chaos. Now they're coming to Warhammer Hero blind boxes in Series 5, which will be available from tomorrow. Alright, so we have a new Warhammer Heroes pack, and basically you have two options when you buy these. You can buy the individual blind boxes, which you won't know which miniature is inside, one of the random 7, and then you can buy a pack of 8, which in the past has contained all 7 of the individual models and then one random extra model as well. Warhammer Heroes returns with a new series of miniatures, 7 unique Stormcast Eternals who collectively form the Gladiatorum Primes. They represent the breadth of the Stormcast Eternals archetypes arrayed together in the struggle against the Dark Gods. The Liberator Prime, Zea Gardera, is joined by the Vindictor Prime, Printis Verna, Vanquisher Prime, Valentin Harvestblade, and Namara Falconis, a Swift Vigiler Prime. They're backed by the Hulking Annihilator Prime, Goltan the Relentless, and Tenya Thrice Trusted, an Indomitable Praetor Prime, who watches over the Gladiatorium. They are led by Acastus Crane, the rare miniature, a powerful Knight Arcanum who has mastered fighting the rampant manifestation wizard conjurer to do their bidding. Alright, so that is definitely an interesting change to what's going on here. So now you have a rare miniature in the Knight Arcanum. So in the past, when you picked up a box of 8 of these models, you would get one of each of the 7 and then one extra model, which was a duplicate of one of these 7. Now it sounds like you're going to have to basically get a complete random box, and then the Knight Arcanum is going to be rare. So there's no guarantee that you're even going to get all 7 of these miniatures if you do buy the box of 8. So I do really like that each of these models is a prime, because it basically means it's like your squad leader or unit champion inside of like your various units. So with a lot of the Age of Sigmar stuff, especially the stuff coming from Dominion, you have a lot of repeat models. Now you do have some variability to swap heads and potentially change equipment on some of these models. But even in the full box sets, there's very limited range, and you do end up with a lot of duplicates if you have multiples of the same type of squad. So now we have unit champions that you can swap in to give a little bit of extra diversity to your squads. Also, one really cool thing about the Warhammer Heroes boxes is all of the models come with a fully textured base with all kinds of extra details already molded into them. So here we can see the Annihilator Prime, very cool. And then we also have our Praetor Prime. So a couple nice new models with some unique poses. And then we have our Vigiler Prime with the bow in a cool pose as well. And then the Vindictor Prime as well. And then we have our Vanquisher Prime, our Liberator Prime, and then the rare model is our Knight Arcanum. So pretty cool new models right here. I do like the extra diversity that you'll be able to add into your current Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormcast Eternals range, but not sure if I like the idea of not being able to pick up a box of these and knowing that you're going to get all 7 models. Each miniature is push fit and comes with rules for use in Warcry as part of the heroes of the Gladiatorum Warband. All 7 are mighty heroes whose names are known throughout the ranks of the Stormcast Eternals. Every display unit will have 8 blind boxes, but unlike previous Warhammer Heroes series, there is no guarantee you will get all 7 miniatures if you buy a full unit of 8. They'll be available to buy from selected retailers in Europe and the US tomorrow, and will come to Australia and New Zealand, China, and Japan later in the year. Okay, yeah, so Games Workshop definitely laying it out right here. So very cool that they're going to have Warcry Warband rules. Also, I'm sure the Games Workshop will release those online. So not only will you be able to pick these up as a Warcry Warband, but you'll also be able to use them to replace out some of your heroes and unit champions in your games of Age of Sigmar. So definitely an overall negative though. If you buy the display box with 8 blind boxes in it, you're not going to be guaranteed to get all 7 heroes. Now a quick word from today's sponsor, CMO Games. CMO Games carries a full range of Games Workshop products including miniatures, paint, terrain, tools, and more. They take pre-orders for most Games Workshop new releases as early as possible, usually 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. CMO Games offers 15% off of MSRP for most all Games Workshop products and offer fast free shipping to the continental United States on orders over $50. Most orders ship out within 24 hours. You know their customer service is top-notch as they've been selling games online for over 20 years. Use the affiliate link below and let them know that Warhammer Man sent you. It definitely feels much more like a CCG type thing where Games Workshop is trying to get you to buy a bunch of them so you can get the character that you want, which in this case has been clearly laid out by Games Workshop that one of the models is going to be more rare than the rest. Doesn't say particularly how many boxes are going to contain this model, but you could presume by the fact that this model is rare that there's not going to be one inside of each of the 8 packs inside the display box. So this is definitely a negative in my opinion. It is far inferior to previously where you could just pick up a display box, get all 7 of the miniatures, and then have one duplicate model as well. And Games Workshop hasn't laid out exactly how rare the rare miniature is going to be. It could be 1 per like 2 boxes, 1 per 5 boxes, 1 per 100 boxes. So without knowing exactly how rare this model is, there's a very high probability that even if you bought multiple of these display boxes of 8 blind boxes, that you wouldn't even get the miniature that you're after. So definitely a net negative in my opinion, especially considering the fact that it costs Games Workshop no different amount of money to create any of these miniatures over the others. So making one of them rare and more desirable is definitely a marketing ploy to get people to buy multiples of these boxes, just hoping to get the ones that they want. So now you have 6 common miniatures and then 1 rare miniature. And of course the actual character is the rare one, which makes sense. But previously with like the Space Marine Heroes, you would get 6 of the regular miniatures and then 1 Space Marine Captain and then 1 duplicate miniature as well. Same with like the Death Guard heroes that came out. You would get the Malignant Plaguecaster in every display box of 8. And then you would get these 6 other Plague Marines and then 1 random extra Plague Marine as well. And I think that the previous way that they did this was much more desirable as a consumer, as you were guaranteed to get at least 1 actual hero inside your box set if you picked up the display box of 8. You also got 1 duplicate model that you could use for either conversions or whatever you wanted with. But now not even knowing if you're going to get the Knight Arcanum makes this much more of like a FOMO situation where you have like a CCG aspect where you're going to buy like a bunch of these individual models hoping to get the character, which I think is much worse for the consumer. Also, if you're looking to build the Warcry Warband now, you're not even guaranteed to get the entire warband in the box set. Based on like the points cost of Stormcast Eternals in general, typically you would get around like 6 or 7 models to make a warband with. So we'll have to see what the points are when this box actually comes out. We'll have to see what the rules and points are, but presumably you would be able to take the 6 that you're guaranteed inside one of the display boxes and then potentially alter your warband and add in the character if you do get a hold of one. But overall for me, this is definitely a net negative. I don't like that Games Workshop is doing this. I think that they're probably doing this with hopes that it will increase the sales and get people to buy like a bunch of the blind boxes or multiple copies of like the 8 display boxes. But for me, this is just an easy pass, because if I pick up one of the display boxes of 8 and I'm not even guaranteed to get all 7 miniatures, I'm just going to presume that I'm not going to get the Knight Arcanum, in which case you're just getting a bunch of like prime models, which are definitely cool new sculpts, but not worth taking the chance. So the Knight Arcanum is pretty awesome, definitely a nice new sculpt. I do like each of the individual prime models and think that they look good. I like the uniqueness of the sculpts, the poses, and the idea of like adding in some different looking models to my existing units to give them a little bit more diversity of like poses and character. But I'm really not interested in doing this whole like random pickup, just hoping that I get the models that I want. So let me know what you guys think of the changes to the Warhammer Heroes boxes. Obviously, I definitely think that this is a net negative. For me, it's going to make me go from buying at least one of these display boxes to not buying them at all. But I do want to hear your comments down below. Are you still going to be picking up these Heroes boxes? What do you think of the actual sculpts? Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. And as always, special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on most Games Workshop products. And make sure to tell them that Warhammer Man sent you. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man. And it looks like the Warhammer Heroes just got worse. And I'm out of here.